Doom, 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 doom. Doom, doom, doom. Game week, game week. Welcome back to another episode of Say What Needs to Be Said. I'm your host, Asante, Mr. Pick Six Samuel, two-time Super Bowl champion, Pro Bowler, all-pro record-breaking cornerback, and the last cornerback to intercept 50 interceptions during the 16-game season era. Yeah, 17 games, and it's about to be 18 games. Welcome back to another show where the energy is live, and we get crunk. We talk to you if you talk back, baby. Hey, we like to get it cranking over here, man. So Monday Night Vibes, man. I hope y'all had a blessed weekend, and it was filled with prosperity. Hope you made a profit, good investments, planting good seeds, all that good stuff, man. Life is life. You know, we got to attack life head on, man, and no looking back, man. So that's what we're doing over here. Say what needs to be said. We want to be inspiring. We want to be motivational, and all that good stuff, man. So let me bring on my co-host for the night, 2-3 Drees.
Oh, let's go.
Baby. Oh, baby.
It's game week, baby. It's game week.
This man is a ride or die.
I've been waiting for this, man. It's been a long off season.
Born and raised in Philadelphia, man.
Let's go.
Man, welcome back to the show, man. Hey, man, college football is the only thing we have to talk about from games to react to this weekend. Then we're going to get into some NFL stuff. So we're going to talk about first, of course, the quarterback controversy that's going on. The Archie Manning, the Manning family, they have another young brother, young nephew, young man in the quarterback rankings coming up in there. College football. We're going to talk about Ryan Clark. We will talk about Michael Parsons. We will talk about Nico Malaweva. And we have a few other things. And we're going to have some fun tonight, man. So y'all tune in. Oh. You know, put your earpieces in. Turn your volumes up. You know, make sure your computer screen is lit nice and beautiful so you can see these pretty white teeth. And let's have some fun tonight. Man, there was some elite pass catching going on this weekend, man. Did y'all see that? Did y'all see that in the college football? We got University of Florida. I mean, we got Virginia Tech. We got the University of Miami, man. These wide receivers was out there doing their thing, trying to make it to the next level. I think I named three. I think I saw about three that could possibly go for player of the year so far. There was some nice catches.
For real, which one you think was the best one?
Maybe two, but I saw three nice catches. I saw three nice catches, right? Yeah. I saw three nice catches. Three nice ones.
Mm-hmm.
And the first one I saw, the University of Florida's Vernell Brown III. Man, he had an unbelievable one-hand catch, as you can see on the screen right there. That was one of the most outstanding catches probably obviously for this weekend, but it probably will go down as one of the best catches this weekend. And then we have CJ Daniels from the University of Miami scored on an amazing one-hand catch against Notre Dame. Man, you see that catch right there. That was beautiful. And the great thing about that catch, he also got the touchdowns against Notre Dame and the victory. Upset Notre Dame, man. That's a great rivalry right there, man. If y'all didn't get to see that game, that was a pretty good game. Went down to the wire. Both sides was going at it, man. So, and then we have, last but not least, Isaiah Spencer from Virginia Tech. He had a nice catch. It wasn't one hand. It wasn't as acrobatic as the other catches. But what was so amazing about this catch was he showed great body control. The defensive back was all on me. He looked like the defensive back had perfect coverage, and he showed patience, body control, and brought the ball down and caught it. Amazing catch. It was a two-handed catch, but he brought it down. He did his thing. So I love to see these young men doing their thing in college, man. Is when they make it to the NFL. I was right there in college, man. And they are the future. They are the future, man. Shout out to the chat. How y'all doing out there tonight?
That Brown catch, it looked exactly like Odell catch, man. He did on Sunday Night Football versus Cowboys.
Brown, right?
Yeah, that catch looked like the way he snatched it back and everything. But honestly, I think the best catch of the weekend was the Miami. Miami, because it was in between defenders. He wasn't scared to go and expose his body. He caught it, broke it in for the touchdown. So that had to be number one for me.
Number one. Sure. Yeah, man. Out of the 3 catches, any catch this weekend, I would have to give it to. They call him VP the third, man. If y'all don't know, Vernell Brown. My daughter is a student at the University of Florida right now, and that is one of her partners right there. So, man, one day I might get to meet the young man. Might have to bring him on the show, introduce him to say what needs to be said. But Vernell Brown the third, man, he definitely had the catch of the weekend, and it didn't go for the touchdown, but it was an amazing catch, man. University of Miami. What's the young man name from University of Miami? CJ Daniels had an amazing catch as well, man. So those 2 young men really did their thing. But let's get into it, man. Who was the most disappointing team of them all this weekend? Who do y'all feel like was the most disappointing? It got to be the obvious. It has to be the obvious. If you're in college football, you have to be in the college football if you're in the NFL, because you need to know who is coming up and who will be on your next team, your team will be drafted, And I see Black Barbie's in the, is that Black Barbie's? Black Barbie Izzy. Shout out to the Black Barbie Izzy, man. Thank you for the compliment. Yeah, man, I try to keep myself well put together. You got to eat right. You got to work out. You got to do all those facial treatments and good things like that. Thank you, man. You're beautiful yourself, man. I love y'all out there in the world, man, in the chat. And thank y'all for y'all support. But who was the most disappointing team of them all this weekend? Man, you had all the top teams playing. And obviously, the number 1 team in college football was taken down. And they was taken down. Yes, sir. And they was taken down. This is crazy. I have so many people that I was affiliated with, coaches, players, friends, and so on and so forth, that are all around football in college, the NFL, everywhere, high school, the University of Ohio State. Matt Patricia, defensive coordinator, was a coach for me at New England, at the New England Patriots. So shout out to Matt Patricia. I don't agree with his ways and how he did things when he left the Patriots, as he got a head coaching job at Detroit Lions, and he took on that Patriot way persona and thought that is how he was supposed to do the thing. But that's a whole nother subject and issue. But he's in college football. Hopefully he changed his ways and he's treating these young men right. But he took down the Texas Longhorns, the number 1 team in college football. Clap it up for him, But I don't know.
I don't think that's
I don't know how good of a job did he really have to do. How good of a job did Matt Patricia really have to do against Texas Longhorns? Because to me, I've been hearing about Archie Manning for a while now, right? And if he were any good, he would have been the starter as a freshman. And that's facts. For me, who his uncles and grandfather is, there was a lot of uproar going on about him playing and possibly transferring because he wasn't starting last year and the year before that as a freshman. But if he was any good, you best believe he would have been a freshman starting at the University of Texas. It wouldn't have been no debating about that. But that isn't the case. That is not the case. Now what we see and are witnessing is politics forcing Archie Manning on the field as a starter for the University of Texas. I can see someone is being compromised. I don't know if it's the head coach. I don't know if it's the offensive coordinator. I don't know if it's the quarterback coach or the athletic director. But something seems like this being compromised. And it's funny, man. We always do these comparisons. We like to talk about black and white, and a lot of people like to play the race cards and things like that. But to me, this is an obvious situation right here. And it's funny to see how mainstream media supports the narrative of Archie Manning being this great quarterback that possibly be the number 1 pick in the 2026 NFL draft.
He opened up the day Heisman favorite.
As the Heisman favorite. Based on what? What did they see? Because I did a little digging. And I went back to high school and I watched some film. And based on what I've seen from Arch Manning, if he is drafted anywhere from the first round to the 5th round, that will tell us whose side the higher ups are on when it comes down to the Manning family or Sanders family. First round would be horrific. Second round would be I don't want to start name calling.
They say teams
blank.
They say teams waiting for him. There's teams waiting for him to come out. That's what they say, man.
Teams waiting for Arch Manning to come out. Are you kidding me? What are they looking at? And that's what I'm here to talk about. The last name.
You know what they looking at. The last name.
Because I see mainstream media found one throw out of the whole game against Ohio State to hype up Arch Manning. And they ran with it. Out of that whole game, they found one throw to hype this man up. And let me tell you, they ran that one play into the dirt. And they made a big deal about it. They made a very big deal about it. But guess what? Yes, the mainstream media are going to do what they do because they stick together. And that's what we need to do. We need to stick together. Everybody needs to stick together. But I'm not the only one who feels this way. Of course, it had to be a brother to speak up on a big platform because no one else was going to speak up on a big platform.
I put most of the blame on Sarkisian more so than I put it on Arch Manning. He wasn't impressive. Again, he was not impressive, and he's got to show up, and I don't want to hear another word about him as a Heisman Trophy candidate, a Heisman finalist. And all
another word.
Nah, I don't want to hear that now.
Not one more word.
Show when you're the man every single Saturday that you can step up and handle your business. That's what he has to do, and I believe he will do it. But when it comes to Sarkisian, you've been around too long. And to go out there and call such a pedestrian game, I really, really was so unimpressed with what I had big expectations for Sarkisian. What we know him to be as a coach, as an offensive play caller, as an offensive coordinator, I think he came up flagrantly short, almost to the point where he was compromised because he was too busy in trying to protect Arch Manning as opposed to coaching him. And I think that that's the indictment to make on this particular morning. You can make a legitimate argument that Steve Sarkisian got just as caught up in all the hype and hoopla and everything surrounding Arch Manning as Arch Manning supposedly did. That's really what this looked like. He looked like a coach that was too preoccupied with protecting a quarterback instead of coaching a quarterback. And that's why I think that that played a role, obviously, in Ohio and Texas's offense looking so anemic. But we also got to give credit to Matt Patricia, the former defensive coordinator in New England, who's now at Ohio State. There's levels to this, and he showed on a collegiate level.
Now, that's Stephen A. Smith. Of course, Stephen A. Smith has to be diplomatic and make sure he chooses his words correctly when he's speaking on a platform like that. And he has to say that head coach from Texas, don't make me mess up his name, but the head coach from Texas is being compromised trying to protect Arch Manning. Right? Steve. So, Stephen A. Smith is trying to be diplomatic, has to choose his words correctly. And he doesn't want to, cause an uproar by using the wrong words. But it had to be a brother to speak up.
Man, listen, Arch Manning had a terrible game throughout the whole game, but he got the ball back with 2 minutes left in the game to erase the rest of the game. He could have drove down the field, took the lead to win the game, and people would have forgot about the rest of the game. Like, oh yeah, he got
forgot about it.
They would have forgot about everything else, but he got a chance with 2 minutes left and missed wide open receiver coming across the field.
Just like that.
3 and out. Well, 4 and out. 4 and first.
What I don't understand, because this goes way back. I don't understand the power of Archie Manning, who is Eli and Peyton Manning's father, as well as Arch Manning, granddad, right? So this Archie Manning is Arch Manning's granddad. I don't know the power and influence that Archie Manning has, but it's something substantial. Why and how he is so influential to football, I wanna know. I want to figure this out. Someone please help me. You know,
Man,
and
I
I might need the internet detectives out there to help me out with this one and start the digging and figure out what Archie Manning's role is in the NFL world. Why he is so powerful and influential. Y'all please help me out and get back with me because this is very interesting. This is very interesting. What he has done with his kids, now his grandkids, his sons, you know, that's what it's about. Sticking together, man, for real.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and from looking at Arch Manning high school film, it's easy to see what you should expect from this kid if you were going to give him a scholarship and expect him to be your starting quarterback, unless you're a coach that think you can make something out of nothing. I want y'all to see this film or this footage of Arch Manning in high school. Give me your thoughts. Tell me, what do you think? If you were a scout, how would you evaluate him? Does he have the tools to come to your school and be a Division I quarterback and start? Check it out. Woo-hoo. Feet serious, man. Almost picked. All right, that was Arch Manning in high school. That was high school football.
Mm-hmm.
Competition doesn't look too competitive, but, you know, you got to play with whoever you got to play against, real. And I'm assuming that was a highlight reel. I'm assuming that was a highlight reel, not just a reel. I'm assuming that was a highlight reel where they tried to pick out some of the best plays. Now, y'all tell me what y'all think. I'm not biased. I didn't see anything too attractive that justifies a Division I scholarship to University of Texas and being a starter.
I think that his footwork and him running around, that get people excited because he already got the Manning last name, so they already expect him to be the same as Peyton and Eli. But they like, oh, he could move too. He's gonna be even better than them. So they automatically assume like just because he could run a little bit. That was the hype last year when he filled in for Ewers for a few games. He had like a 70-yard touchdown run, and like that, I think that like boosts everybody. Like, oh yeah, he gonna be like Manning, but can move too. So yeah. I think that play a part of the hype on the hype train of Arch Manning. But we gonna see what he gonna do. That's one game, and I haven't. It ain't impressed me. It ain't impressed you. I'm just excited to see how he bounce back. And
but that's how they stick together. You find one little thing. You can find something good, and you can find something bad in everyone. You find that one little thing, and you run with it and hype it up to the moon and back. And yeah, like I say, maybe his size is attractive. His footwork and him running the ball is attractive. He looks athletic. But we're talking about a quarterback here. Quarterback, you know, throwing the ball, making good decisions, things like that, you know. And as of the first game of the college season for Texas, Arch Manning had a very hard time completing simple routine passes to his wide receivers.
That's true.
It was hard for Arch Manning to complete simple routine passes. And that's the same thing I just saw from the high school film. Nothing has changed. And it could be coaching. Someone maybe needs to coach him up a little better because I didn't even see much progress. It seemed like he's making the same decisions as he made in high school. Right? Now, don't get me wrong. Like I said, it looks like he has all the tools to succeed. He has a big arm. He's athletic. He can run. He got a little agility to him. But he just doesn't have the pedigree that his uncles, Peyton Manning and Eli Manning, had. You know, there's a difference. You can have the athleticism. You can have the speed. But you also need that pedigree and that heart to go out there and to be successful, you know? It's not just a physical game, it's also mental, you know?
Man,
and I don't know, man, how granddad Archie Manning will pull this off, but I believe he definitely will get his grandson to the NFL as a priority. Ain't no doubt about it in my mind, you know.
Before the season, he did say he wanted to stay 2 more years, so he know.
They know something, man.
Yeah, he said, I want him to stay.
Reality over there. They understand that maybe,
and people that understand that maybe after this game they understand why he said he wanted to stay 2 more years before he come out for the NFL.
What do you mean? The Texas Longhorns are in trouble right now. If they continue to go with Arch Manning, Steve Sarkisian's job might be on the line. You know what I mean? But let me tell you, man, I got to refresh a few of y'all memory. I don't know if y'all seen or was into the NFL draft back in 2003 and 2004. You know, I seen with my own eyes. I couldn't believe it. Eli Manning refused to play for the San Diego Chargers after being selected with the #1 pick overall. He refused to go to the San Diego Chargers. I don't think he did that on his own will and own understanding. You know, someone definitely put that in his ear, right? And he refused to go to the Chargers. And guess what? As we all know, he forced the Chargers to trade Eli Manning to the Giants. Granddad or dad, Archie Manning, forced the Chargers to trade Eli Manning to the Giants. That's when I knew Archie Manning, man, he was the real deal. He had some real power going on. I don't know what he got over these NFL owners or whatever. If he's a part of building this NFL company to what it is or whatever, you know, because he was a player back in the days. He played for 14 years, but he is very influential in this NFL. I'm telling you, man. And I want y'all to understand the difference, man. Coach Prime, right? Coach Prime, very influential, right? Archie Manning, very influential. But what is the difference? Coach Prime has that power that gains a lot of attention, right? To be very marketable, make a lot of money in that aspect, right? Whereas Archie Manning, he has that higher ups type of power. And it makes him well connected. He could get a lot of things done behind the scenes that you have no clue that he may be responsible for. And that's the difference in power. One power is a little flashy, gets a lot of attention. Yeah, it makes a lot of money. The other one,
just make that phone call.
They make power moves behind the scenes, and you have no idea that it is coming from that way or that side. You see what I'm saying? So, you know, shout out to the Manning family, man. You know, I messed with the Manning family. We had a lot of battles. You know, a lot, man. So I got a lot of respect for them, man. And you know, I appreciate what they did for me, and I'm sure they appreciate what I did for them, man. It all go hand in hand, man. Competition. That's what it's about. But Thursday, baby, y'all see that Eagles jersey? Show them that Eagles jersey. 2-3 Drees.
I don't know if y'all just seen, man. He just got voted #1 player by the Peers.
#1 player. Will Saquon Barkley repeat, have a breakout season like he did last season?
No, not 2,000
player
yards.
of the year. Is it possible that Saquon does it all over again as a Philadelphia Eagle? Thursday night football kicks off, man, this weekend. The first game of the season. Eagles versus the Cowboys. It's going down. Now, I want to know, is it even possible? Is there a chance in living hell that Dak Prescott and the Cowboys can disappoint the Super Bowl champs Philadelphia Eagles on Thursday Night Football? Is there a chance?
Not with that defense.
I don't know. I don't know. Michael Parsons leaving, man. That take care of a lot of things if you don't understand.
I dare hear Dex say, now we got a real man in the locker room.
You see? You understand?
I think it was a little shot. I think it was a little shot in there. His head. Now we got real men in the locker room.
Of course.
We can handle business now.
Of course, man. Of course. See the thing about it, man, the first game of the season can get very tricky. You get very tricky for a lot of players, because we don't know which players are prepared physically and mentally to go perform at a high level in that first game of the season, right? Some players playing preseason, some players don't need to play in preseason. It's all about how each other prepare and, how you get ready for the game. I don't care what you say, that first game of the season, I'm always tired. I'm always, a little rusty trying to get my feet worked back, up under me and things like that. By the second half, I'm probably used to it by then. But it all depends on how many preseason games I played as well. They don't really play preseason games now. So don't just think just because the Eagles are the more dominant team, they're going to just go out there and flat out take care of business. Last year, Eagles started off a little slow. Everything wasn't looking so great in the beginning of the season. Then when they went to Brazil, things kind of shift and they got the shit together, But what the difference is from the Eagles to the Cowboys is the Eagles are committed to playing physical football, whereas the Cowboys, Dak Prescott, they want to get the ball in the air, and CeeDee Lamb won't be whining. That's the Cowboys way, And with the Eagles, you could tell that they are committed to playing physical because of the players that they draft and sign in free agency, and offense they're a run first team. They're a run first team on offense, and they're committed to stopping the run first on defense. But that doesn't guarantee the win. But it gives a little advantage, heading into the game. And if Dallas can't match that physicality from the Eagles, it'll be over from the beginning. But we have to see how it's going to go. It's going to be exciting. It's going to be fun.
Yeah, I definitely don't think Dallas can run the ball at all. Like we talk about like the physical, you talk about the trenches and everything like that. You gotta look. That's what I look at first: the offensive line, defensive line, and on both sides, I feel like Eagles win the battle on both sides. They don't even Cowboys didn't even name they starting running back yet, so it could be Miles.
I think it's Javon. What is his name? Javon Campbell.
Williams.
Yeah.
They got from Denver. So he's haven't even played the full season yet. He's been on and off the field and have up and down. So it's hard to say what they're gonna do at running back. So I like Tony Potter, that running back that they had before. But we
running back is one of those positions that's another tricky position. Like you think you need that big name, that awesome athlete at running back, but typically you really don't. You just need a big body that's explosive and can run, and that's going to hit that hole. A lot of no-name running backs come up out of nowhere a lot of times in NFL because running back isn't that position where it takes so much technical technique and things like that to be able to get the job done at running back.
Sure.
So anybody could pop up, and start running the ball. But the problem is that the Cowboys are a throw the ball first team, right? They want to throw the ball first, right? And their plan is to light up the defense. That's how the Cowboys want to go about things, right?
Mm-hmm.
But to make a point for the Cowboys, the big question for the Eagles is, how will the cornerback on the opposite of Quinyon Mitchell hold up? They just recently named the starter, which is Adoree Jackson. I hope I'm saying his name right. Adoree Jackson, right? Yeah. He was just recently named the starter, and then we got Cooper DeJean up next. So Jackson got to hold up because CeeDee Lamb and George Pickens, they are definitely coming at him. Dak Prescott is coming at them right off the rip. Right beginning of the game, Dak Prescott is probably going to try him and see what he has. On third down, it's going to be a lot of man-to-man coverage. Eagles run a lot of man-to-man on third down because they want to be physical and stop the run. So that's when Jackson will be tested. He will be tested early and often. So it would be important for him to start off strong so Dak Prescott don't continue to come after him. And, don't let him eat. Don't let him eat out there, Jackson, man. Dory, don't let him eat out there. But if the Cowboys want to win, man, it has to be done on defense. Somehow, some way, with Micah Parsons going, they have to stop the Eagles from being physical. Don't let Jalen Hurts and Saquon Barkley control the time of possession in this game. Don't let them control the line of scrimmage. That's how you play physical football. It sounds good, and maybe the coach, the Dallas Cowboy coaches, is preaching this to them, but it's another thing to get the job done. It's one more thing to get the job done.
Speaking of coaches, they coming in there with a rookie head coach.
Head coach? I mean, he's not like a rookie. He's not like a rookie.
Yeah, he's first-time head coach.
Yeah. Oh, shout out to the chat, man. I forgot to shout out to the chat, man. Tony Bridges, one time, man. Appreciate you, man. Tony Bridges. Next time, shoot a little message back, man, so we could, talk to us. We talk back. Shout out to Tony Bridges. Salute to the chat.
Everybody talking about.
Heard all the noise is going on. Michael Parsons traded. He's gone. He's the hell up out of Dallas. He is forgotten about now. Now you know how it goes, man. When you leave your environment or your area, things start to come out that people probably were scared to say before when you were there.
Mm-hmm.
Michael Parsons is gone, and he's a Packer now. Now reports are circulating. Michael Parsons wasn't well liked in the locker room. Is this surprising to any of you all? Michael Parsons wasn't well liked around the team and in the locker room. Did y'all watch Michael Parsons? Did you see him how I see him? Because this is very understanding. And I'm going to say he wasn't liked behind his back because
they wouldn't say it to his face.
I don't think any of one of his teammates said anything to his face about the problems or issues he had on the team. They had with him on the team. So I'm going to say they didn't like Michael Parsons behind his back because I don't see any of those players confronting Michael Parsons about his behavior on the team, on his podcast, whatever they had an issue with. But I can definitely see Michael Parsons' ex-teammates having issues with him, but I don't see him confronting him. I could see him doing like what everybody else does and wait for him to leave and talk behind his back, right? To me, Michael Parsons seemed a little self-centered. He thinks it's all about him. He feels he's the priority. That's how it looks to me. Yeah, it does. He comes off as one of those players that feels like he can do whatever he wants or say whatever he wants to say, even if it's including his teammates on issues around the league or even if it's issues on the team. That's who Michael Parsons think he is and think he has the right to do. And he does. Because obviously no one at the Cowboys confronted him about the issue unless they did and went in tattletaled, and then the general manager or Jerry Jones or someone had to come down and say, no more of the podcast. Your teammates don't like what you're saying, And at one point, Michael Parsons was very consistent on that podcast, and it wasn't nothing but controversy he was talking about. He was bringing up topics. The topics he was choosing was very controversial on this podcast. And sometimes it seemed like it was pointing back towards his team. And when these players get on these podcasts, a lot of times they're asked to rank players at their position. And when you don't rank your quarterback or the top players on your team, that hits a little different to your teammates. And I think he was asked to rank quarterbacks. Don't quote me on this. And Dak Prescott wasn't in the conversation. I know CD Lamb did at one point in time, and then he later on corrected himself and put Dak Prescott in his top 5 or whatever, you know what I mean? But all in all, right? Why did Jerry Jones do what he did with Micah Parsons? Because there was record-breaking money on the table. And I just feel like Jerry Jones was persuaded to trade Micah Parsons. He didn't understand how to separate big names like Micah Parsons from actual production that needed to be done to win games these days. He had to be persuaded because it came out of nowhere. Boom, we're trading Micah Parsons. Now, I'm not saying, he got wind of what we're talking about on Say What Needs to Be Said, but I'm saying he got wind of Say What Needs to Be Said somehow, some way, through his circle. They probably heard it over here, and they brought it up to him because it came out of nowhere. He definitely had somebody persuaded Jerry Jones about this situation, because think about it. The Dallas Cowboys, America's team, superstars. That is what Jerry Jones built his team on, having superstars, these big name talents like Micah Parsons. And for him to say, I'm just going to trade Micah Parsons after just offering him record-breaking money, that don't sit well with me. I'm not falling for that, right? But I damn sure was the first to put it out there about Micah Parsons being traded because, and this is what I said. I said Jerry Jones should trade Micah Parsons because Dallas Cowboys are vulnerable against the run. That's when I brought up they was ranked like almost dead last. You know what I mean? But don't think it's far-fetched either, man. I could tell you some of my NFL buddies, man, they have came back and told me things that I mentioned and talked about behind the scenes were mentioned, but I don't know why people just don't want to give me my credit, maybe because I didn't have a platform and I've stayed behind the scenes. But now I'm out and about, I'm live and I'm crunk.
Let's talk about say what needs to be said. Say what needs to be said, man.
We got to say what needs to be said, baby. But it's highly possible that the Cowboys, man, can play better against the run now that Micah Parsons going on Thursday night, man, and even start playing better as a unit. That's how it goes when you have, a little cancer. You know how cancer spread. It's a real thing. That's why we call it cancer in the locker room, because cancer in real life is the same thing like cancer in the locker room. It spreads, right? And once you get rid of that cancer, you start to see things form and build, and everyone as a unit start playing together and having each other back, spending more time. You don't have these outcasts out here who we have to deal with because the coaches are dealing with it and the owners are dealing with it. And once you see the leaders and the higher ups, taking the crap that's going on, there ain't too much you can do unless you're willing to risk your livelihood, But at the end of the day, Jerry Jones made the right move, man, with Micah Parsons. And now he's using that money to pay other players like Barron, Deron Bland, and whoever else he played. He played someone else, paid someone else. So he got more players, with Micah Parsons' money.
Definitely saved a lot of money. He definitely saved a lot of money.
But I think y'all don't understand, just people as football fans, right? As a football fan, you think the defensive end, he makes sacks, and sacks are fun, and sacks are cool. He make a lot of sacks. That's great. That's what we call a great defensive end, when you can rush the quarterback and get a lot of sacks, right? But stopping the run is the most important part of playing on defense. And defensive ends just don't concentrate on that. That's just not the sexy part of football for defensive ends.
That was definitely a lot of people game plans. Going against Micah Parsons, you run at him. That's you run at him.
Every smaller defensive end that is a speed rusher. Soon as just like Abdul Carter, same thing. As soon as you come out of college, you're 6'3", 245 pounds running a 4.3, 4.4, 40-yard dash. Guess what? Run the ball at him. Yep. And then guess what? When it's time to pass, just send a little chip block over there and throw him off his rushing lane, and you'll be all right. You know?
Mm-hmm.
Simple as that. But hey, we have a little learning lesson here, man, as parents, as law-abiding citizens that we should be, as leaders, so on and so forth, man. Nico Malawiva, the ex-Tennessee Volunteer, man, he made a big, big mistake, man. Dang, he made a big mistake. I hate to see this go down like this. And then the leadership is coming from the parents. The parents think they know it all. And Nico Malawiva made a big, big mistake, not accepting Tennessee's offer after he was requesting a substantial increase in NIL money. Now, the dad and everybody tried to backtrack and said, you know, these things didn't happen and so on and so forth. But, you know, when there's so many rumors going on, it's like, what? Like, what is it, you know?
Mm-hmm.
And what I want to talk about today on this segment is dads being a problem in kids' life. And that was one thing that I pride myself on, making sure I didn't be a problem. But I'm going to push my kids. I'm going to, you know, make sure they achieve the best that they could possibly achieve, right? I'm not going to let them be quitters. And all these things I'm going to instill into my kids, right? But dads are becoming a problem for, you know, some of these kids in college, right, these days, because dads are motivated by greed now, right? Using their kids or their sons as leverage to try and make them, the dad, look like he knows what's best. I can get this done. I can get things done for you way better than your representative agent and so on and so forth, right? Because dads, you know, we're alpha male. We think we know it all. We have all the right answers, right? Even if we haven't done our homework. That's how male energy comes off, right? And then it's the dads who barely have any experience, any education in what they're trying to do, whether it's negotiating a contract for an athlete or trying to get a promotional deal. You know, a dad would like to step in and think he knows what's best. And Nico's dad tried to disguise his negotiation technique to the University of Tennessee by trying to blame the offensive line for Nico mishaps after that last game of the season. He used the offensive line not blocking for Nico to try to ask for more money or they was going to get out of it, allegedly, because he's backtracking from all these statements and comments, right? And Nico went from potentially earning $4 million to now he's earning, I think, around $1.5 million. Whatever it is, it's a substantial decrease in money. Instead of the increase he was looking for, it's a substantial decrease, as well as it's a substantial drop in his play. And what is
the team he's on.
Right. And the team he's on, I mean, they're not even well established, you know? So not only did Nico force himself into a predicament where he's not only making less money, but his stock is also taking a dive.
Can't even compete. He would just compete in the playoffs. Now he ain't nowhere near.
Right. And then dad, like I say, he tried to disguise his negotiation, saying his son was getting sacked too much. Now his son is getting sacked left and right at UCLA
and be losing
because of the greed, you know? And Nico's career was headed in the right direction, potentially going to be a top 5, top 10 pick, or one of the top quarterbacks selected in the 2026 draft. But that greed, man, forced Nico out of a perfect situation in Tennessee. And dads, man, this is what we cannot be messing up. And we have to know when to take a step back sometimes, right? Like I said, all this is allegedly, you know, and it was that NIL money. We can get this money. This NIL money is starting to mess some folks up out here. And we can't forget, dads, don't forget the bigger picture. That NIL money is temporary, and it's not the bigger picture. The bigger picture is being the number one pick of the draft, right? Or being a first rounder. That is the bigger picture, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then you can decide if you want to try to get your son some more money, if that's the perfect time, you know? Then you want to step in and try to say, hey, man, I could be your agent. Let me rock with you. You get drafted, let me work your contract out for you. Things like that. You can mess that up too, but at least they'll be on the team, you know? You know, when there's so much money, a little bit of change left on the table ain't gonna hurt nobody, you know? But if dad knew what he was doing, man, he would have had another team already lined up to pay Nico. If not the same amount of money, close to the money he was asking for, if he knew what he was doing, you know? Because a situation like this can really destroy a father and son relationship, because the son will feel like he trusted in his dad, and dad messed everything up. And not only messed it up, he made it worse. And like I said, of course, dad is going to deny all these allegations and him being a reason for Nico not being at Tennessee anymore and so on and so forth. But the reality is reality, man. You know, it's dad, was your dad in your life, man? How was your dad in your life, man? Did you have a relationship with your pops?
Yeah, for sure, man. He definitely was more into boxing though. He didn't really like other sports like that. Me, I love all sports. I played football, basketball, baseball, track. But he's more boxing. So I started boxing when I was 8 years old until I got to high school, man. And he thought every other sport was like pointless. He's like, why would you want to depend on another man to win a game when it could be all on you? So like I used to be in the gym from after school until it closed, Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, no matter what day of the week it was, they had me in there training. I mean, I learned a lot from boxing. Boxing like basically made your hands fast, work on your footwork. It's the hardest workout of all sports, honestly.
It's
so
the
I was in
hardest
shape.
workout of all sports. It's like you have to go out there and try to break yourself every day. Like you have to go to push yourself to the limit every day in that boxing gym. And it's crazy. You get well conditioned. But it's funny because, you know, I tell my friends, I think the human breed, like there's a section of humans, like, you know, there's a breed of humans, you know, like dogs, like you got Rottweiler. I don't know what type of humans the breed. You know, I don't know what I'm saying, but I feel like your dad, right? Is what I'm trying to say is that I feel like your dad, right? In this aspect, as in football or playing a sport, if I was a wide receiver, I think I would switch my position because I need someone else for me to be successful. I need the quarterback to throw me the ball to be successful. So in that aspect, I kind of understand where dad is coming from, right? Whereas I talk about Travis Hunter. Travis Hunter needs Trevor Lawrence to be on point for him to be successful. So I feel dad in that aspect, but I think he was taking it a little too far, you know, taking it a little too far. And
I mean, but I definitely like looking back at it and all the things that I went through, I definitely appreciate it now because he instilled so much stuff into me, like waking up 4 a.m. Like I do that regularly now and go to the gym because I had to do that as a kid growing up. Like I had to wake up every day 5 a.m, go run, and then go to school. Like so, like to me, I still do that. Like that's something I still do. And I told you that was my biggest motivation because I went to my high school Hall of Fame. I told you I played all these different sports in high school, so I got inducted to my high school Hall of Fame. I was like, that was my motivation, man. You instilled that hard work into me, but you did tell me I can't do nothing else but box. Like he did tell me, he's like, you can't do nothing else but box. So that was like my motivation the whole time in every sport. Like, listen, I'm gonna prove him wrong.
Sports, man. I like to tell a lot of people that, man, sports it taught me discipline, it taught me teamwork, it taught me how to be a leader. It taught me so many things. I learned pretty much everything in life from sports, pretty much. You know what I mean? And I like to tell people, try having Nico's dad's back a little bit. Nico's dad went a little too far, and we have to be here for our kids as dads, right? And I see now that most dads, it's all about control, wanting to control their kids, making them do this, making them do that. And I agree with that, right? You don't let your kids choose what they want to do, because they will choose not to do anything, or most of the time kids are going to choose the easy way out, right? So I make my kids, my boys, like when I had my son, he played multiple sports. Like you said, he's going to try basketball, he's going to play football, he's going to play baseball, he's going to try multiple different things. And then we're going to figure out which one is doing the best for you, right? Which one you can succeed in the most, because the goal is to get a scholarship, right? Whereas dads, like you say, your dad, I'm not, not talking about no one, but I don't think it's necessary that you have to make them do one sport in particular. You don't force your will on your kids. You kind of let them venture out to discover themselves, right? And that was so good about my mom. She didn't really have a place for me, and or what type of sport I'm gonna play. It was just so happened she worked across the street from the park, and the park was my home. So she threw me out there to the wolves, and I did it all. Whatever the park had, I played all these sports. Whatever sports they had at the park, I played it. And football just ended up being the one that I loved the most, I cherished, and the one that I pursued the most in my life, and it worked out for me. I love basketball the most. I actually could quit football one year, but as being a kid, you find your way. And that's where the dad could have came in my life and helped me out, make me understand that I'm not supposed to be a quitter. I didn't understand that I'm not supposed to be a quitter till I got into high school, because anytime I would see my coaches, or my coaches would discipline me, or I thought they was out of line of how they wanted to treat me, because I never got disciplined at home. So I didn't understand that from anyone else. So I wouldn't allow anyone to talk to me crazy or treat me wrong, because my mom didn't do that. So I didn't understand that from anyone else. And that was just my perspective. But as a man, I didn't know that I'm not supposed to quit. And obviously, if I can't call my dad, my brother, my uncle to come up here and talk to coach for me, because coach is treating me wrong and disrespecting me and things like that. I have to stand up for myself. And the only way I can stand up for myself is get the hell away from me, coach. But I live and learn. You know what I mean? That was just me as a kid. That was me as a kid.
And as a father, I see now, like, it's a fine line of forcing somebody to do something and not letting them quit. Because you don't want your kid to grow up as a quitter. As soon as something get hard, you quit. But you also don't want to, like, force them and make him hate something that you know what I mean? It's a fine line in between that. You got to find that balance where it's like, I'm not going to let you quit. You're going to be able to pursue whatever it is you want to do. And just because it got hard today, that's today. Like, tomorrow's going to be a new day. You know what I mean? So
because you have to always watch out for that resentment from your kids. If you force them to do one thing and it don't work out, now they're looking at you like, look at my life, because you told me this was going to work out. I trusted you, and I wanted to do this, and I'm sure I would have made it in this. And now it's just a whole messed up situation where, like I said, this could get tricky with these relationships with the son and the father, when the father thinks they have all the right answers, and things don't work out so well. So fathers, man, you got to watch out, man, sometimes for thinking, even I think, like, I was talking to one of my friends or one of my buddies, and he was saying, like, he basically raised his kids how his dad raised him, and his dad was tough, no nonsense, didn't really show him no love, didn't smile. And it's like, bro, no, that's not the way. It's just not the way. You got to show your kids love. You got to show them tough love, but you also have to show them that love and affection as well, And that's hard for some men to do out here, man. You have to show your kids love and affection. That's the most important of them all, man. That was the number one thing that I got in my childhood, is I got that love, boy. I got that love. Woo, I got some love. I ain't have no discipline now, The streets and sports was my discipline. I ain't have to go to school since 5th grade. I ain't never have to go to school. I never had to wake up in the morning. I ain't never have to do no work. I ain't have no chores. What else? It's just nothing, man. It was just nothing. Everybody come to my house, no matter what time it is. We could skip school. My mama gonna call in for everybody who was skipping school, and they about to call your house. We got everything under control at my house. You know, that was my life. Hey, I made it up out of there, baby. You know, we back. Yeah. But Ryan Clark, man, why this guy Ryan Clark, man? He messed around and came up on my radar, and now he don't know who he dealing with. When he comes up on my radar, we got to talk about it. You know what I mean?
What happened? What happened? We got to find out what happened, man.
Yes. I'm gonna let you know. I'm gonna let you see. This guy, Ryan Clark, man. Ryan Clark really thinks he's somebody that did something in the NFL so legendary or something on the field to make athletes want to sit down and talk with him. Who does Ryan Clark think he is? Ryan Clark think superstar athletes really want to sit down and talk with him like he's a somebody. Come to find out, Ryan Clark is disliked by many individuals in this media world. Yeah, he's disliked by a lot of people because everyone can see the fake phoniness from this guy. And the list continues to grow. Ryan Clark needs to understand, man, he is a platform guy. That's the only time people want to speak with him, when he's on a platform. He's not someone who is recognized for being this great, outstanding player or someone that did something so special on the field that people recognize him for that for. No. Ryan Clark, they recognize you from ESPN. ESPN made you. So humble yourself down and calm down. Nobody really wants to sit down and talk with you. Yeah, on the platform, but not with you. So pump your brakes a little bit. Pump your brakes. You're getting a little beside yourself. That's what we do over here at Say What Needs to Be Said. We put people in check. And you know what Ryan Clark, who he remind me of? I know I told y'all before so many things he remind me of, but he also reminds me of that nerd from middle school. You know that nerd in middle school and high school. That was just, he was a nerd. He was pretty much a nobody. He did everything right. He got picked on a little bit here and there. He wouldn't go out and do the bad things with us. And yeah, that was Ryan Clark, right? Mm. And then you see when you get back from college and you come home and you all of a sudden see Ryan Clark again, and he's thugging. He's on the stroll. He's outside on the corner in the neighborhood. All of a sudden he's a thug. He's a hoodlum. And it's like, man, in the world, y'all want me to respect this? Some of them nerds, but they hit us now too, boy. You gotta watch out, boy. You can't mess around with the nerds now. They serious out here. But that's who Ryan Clark remind me of. All right, here is Ryan Clark, man, thinking, I don't know why he think people would love to sit down and chat with him, have a conversation with him about whatever he wants to have a conversation with. But here we go. Ryan Clark.
It's dude, he's fine. And I was like, man, I love to sit with him. I was like, I'm part of the history there. He's the quarterback with our team now. I actually don't dislike him. I want to sit with him, welcome him to Steeler Nation, and just kind of have a conversation. I didn't want to have a conversation about that. I wanted to talk about his career. I said over and over again, he's the best quarterback I ever played against. He declined. I think he had other things to do, which I respected.
What you thought?
But when we're pulling up to campus, right, he's talking to Arthur Smith, when we're going up the hill. And so I'm like, well, for me, if I truly don't have an issue with you, I'm going to speak to you. I'm going to say hello. It's it's rude not to, in my opinion, you know. And so he was talking to Arthur Smith. I talked to some of the guys I see coming from, like, I think special teams meeting. I roll the window down. I was like, "What's up, guys?" You know, Arthur Smith kind of speaks. Aaron Rodgers looks at me and he doesn't say anything, you know. And but I respected it because he was like, "I'm not going to be fake, you know, for whatever he feels or whatever it is." He's like, "That's not someone that I fool with in that way, and I'm not going to fake it." And I think it, you know, it set the tone that, hey, you and I don't talk. You know what I'm saying? And so when I was on the field, like, I didn't say nothing to him. He didn't say anything to me. But I did, you know, I did get a good chuckle out of it. You know, Channing thought it was funny. Fred thought it was funny. They was like, "Damn, man, he ain't even acknowledge it." And I was like, you know, that's better than it being an issue.
That's what Shannon Sharp did to me.
Ryan Clark, ladies and gentlemen, Ryan Clark. He think Aaron Rodgers and he have something in common where Aaron Rodgers wants to sit down and talk with him. He acknowledged that Aaron Rodgers is the best quarterback he ever played against, and he think that affords him a conversation with Aaron Rodgers. What is going on with Ryan Clark? Ryan Clark think because he played for the Steelers, Aaron Rodgers should sit down and talk with him. Aaron Rodgers ain't studying you, fool. What is this, man?
Man, he ain't even give him the head nod or nothing. He just go act like he wasn't there.
Bro, I'm telling you, man, ESPN really got dude. ESPN really got dude thinking he's somebody out here, man. Somebody, man. Hey, ESPN, hey, salute the ESPN. ESPN, you making people famous out here, man. You taking people out of their reality, you know. I think he really believed that he was an awesome football player now that he's on ESPN as well, too. I think he think he was like that. If you ask him, you probably believe he was like that. Hey, what they say, fake it until you make it, baby. You got to fake it until you make it, you know? But I'm just curious, what kind of conversation does Ryan Clark want to have with Aaron Rodgers? Is this his bait to get him on the platform and run the numbers up? Because what conversation does Ryan Clark think does Aaron Rodgers want to have with him? Like, bro, like what did y'all do to have a conversation? You know, unless you want to talk about the vaccines and where Aaron Rodgers is going to disappear to after his NFL time and stuff like that. You know?
Man, I see all this Ryan Clark. Everybody agreeing with you and Ryan Clark, man.
Yeah, man. Yeah.
All the comments.
Y'all know, man. Y'all know I'm here to humble these. Y'all, what you say?
No, Static Major 20. He said we don't claim that dude in Louisiana.
Oh man, shout out to Louisiana, man. Shout out to the Louisiana. Throw the L's up. I throw the L's up too, man. We got one thing coming, man. Shout out to the boot, man. But y'all know, man. Y'all know I'm here to humble these athletes so they don't get beside themselves a little bit too much. They won't come across my radar, come across my plate. And I'm gonna give them a humble pie. That's what we call it in New England. I'm out here giving them slices of humble pie. And you know the way Ryan Clark mind thinks, I'm sure Ryan Clark thinks Michael Jordan would love to sit down and talk with him. Shit, why not? You know,
man.
Not on any of the platforms. He think Michael Jordan would love to sit down and have a one-on-one with him. That's how my Ryan Clark mind is going these days. He thinks he deserves a one-on-one conversation with the GOAT, Michael Jordan. You know.
No, right? Ryan Clark must have said something about Aaron Rodgers because he didn't even give him the head nod or say what's up back when he's riding past with the window down.
Exactly what I'm trying to tell you. This guy ain't sorry, I don't want to be disrespectful. This guy be up there talking about greats and having great conversations, and it's like, who are you? Keep our name out of your mouth. You don't know nothing about greatness. And I'm sure he criticized Aaron Rodgers and said something, and it's like, I'm sure Aaron Rodgers feel the same way I do. Like, dude,
he just looked at him.
Yeah, like, dude, you're nothing. Like, why are we talking about you? Like, why you think we should talk to you? Like, you know, you know. But I got a plan. You know, I always got a plan. And I got a plan for ESPN. I'm about to make some new rules for ESPN. Their hiring process and the credentials athletes need to get a job out there. Yeah, that's what we're gonna do. That's what we're gonna do for ESPN. We're gonna change around the hiring process and make sure these athletes have the proper credentials that are needed to get a job on ESPN. You know, or if athletes don't have the proper and hire the high credentials to speak on certain situations, you know, pertaining to greats, then we'll send that athlete to another segment, you know, send them somewhere else to talk about another issue. That's how we're handling it. So that's going to be the new rules moving forward for ESPN. Ryan Clark and when I get around there, I'm going to have all these rules established, and we're going to get some law and order in place because we can't be letting people just parade around like this and act foolish, you know, because that's what's going on. And then for him to go out here and talk about this, like, yeah, Aaron Rodgers didn't want to talk to me. I told him, I'll sit down. I want to have a conversation with Aaron Rodgers. Boy, I want to have a conversation with Donald Trump. I want to have a conversation with Oprah Winfrey. I want to have a conversation with all the people. But y'all know, man, how we have fun, man. We have fun out here, man. Say what needs to be said. Y'all know we love to entertain. Have that energy, man. Anything in the chat, man, they picking on me talking about, I was saying, a bala waiver. Let me go to my chat, man. Where you at? He was hating on me. Keon Parker, stop hating on me, man. I ain't say Mala Bava, whatever you try to say. Stop hating on me. Stop hating. Shout out to my chat. Shout out to my day ones. Ain't no manual in the building. Marlon, Yvette. Shout out to all Rocky Fred.
Oh yeah, it said
slow motion.
FSU in the building. Listen, that's the biggest upset. Not that Texas game. The biggest upset was that. That was the biggest upset.
Florida State was the biggest upset. But you know, I'm looking at the number one potential overall pick, the Heisman Trophy winner. That's what I'm doing to the TV to see. I want to see because he's just out of nowhere. He's supposed to be the best ever, and I want to see what was the difference between him and Shedeur and things like that. But like I said, if he goes anywhere from that first to the fifth round, it's like what can we say? What can we say, man? What can we say? What can we say, man? Thursday night football, man, is around the corner. Then we had this weekend, man. But what do y'all think about the Browns, man? Do y'all think? Am I right? I said Joe Flacco is going to have 3 to 4 games, and then he's going to be out of there. So is Dylan Gabriel going to be up pretty soon?
Yeah, he next up.
Starting for the Cleveland Browns. Because if that happens, then Shedeur is going to be right behind him, ready to go, ready to operate, take over like he did at Jackson State, University of Colorado, and get comfortable and lead the team. Yeah, Dylan Gabriel has maybe he recognizes defenses quicker, gets the ball out a lot quicker than Shedeur Sanders, but that doesn't mean he's more of a playmaker and runs the offense as it needs to be ran. Or maybe he does run it as it needs to be ran, but I don't think he can make the plays that Shedeur Sanders can make. And I think one problem with Dylan Gabriel would be, because I think he's going to have to play. You know, I think I think he's gonna be in soon. Right. But the issue I did see in preseason was him being able to convert in the red zone. And he finally got in there in that second preseason game he played in. But the difference in the red zone, everything gets tighter. And, you know, your arm strength, your vision, the lanes has to be open. And, you know, you have to be able to get that ball in there, man, and zip it in there. And he did make a good read on the touchdown he threw, where it was going to be an interception. He saw it, he held the ball back, paused it, and then hit the wide open shot against trap coverage out there. So I don't know, man. It's going to be interesting. Who does Cleveland play first?
I think Bengals.
Yeah, I think they do play the Bengals. That's not going to be a good game for the backups or anybody because we know the Bengals defense is absolutely horrible. So Joe Flacco will go out there. He probably will look all right. He will look pretty good
against that. Look good against that defense.
Yeah, Joe Flacco will go out there against the Bengals, and I think he will look pretty well. Everything will be clicking. We're talking about how good the Cleveland Browns are doing and things like that. But then when they start to get against the Pittsburgh Steelers and the Ravens and the Eagles and whoever else they play, that's when things change and get a little more serious. The weather starts changing and get a little colder. One thing y'all do know, if you don't know, when it gets colder, the colder it gets, everything hurts just a little bit more, right? All the hits and helmets, your fingers hitting helmets and making contact every which way, everything starts to hurt a little bit more. You know what I mean? So
especially when you're 40.
Especially when you're 40. And you ain't got joints a little rusty and they ain't as lubricated as they used to be. Everything hurts a little bit. Hey, if y'all don't take magnesium and vitamin D, I didn't take this stuff when I was in the NFL. I probably should have. It would have helped me out a lot. But I'm sure every game, man, every day, I'm sure he got all type of vitamins and supplements he has to take. A big old pill pack about this big. If y'all see my hand, just every day. About 10 pills and 10 supplements, man. So Monday Night Vibes, man. It was fun tonight, man. I had a great time.
Man, we need your prediction before we go. Thursday, first game of the season.
Thursday night, first game of the season. What's my prediction? I'm going to give you the score and all, and I'm usually pretty accurate. So when we come back on after the game Thursday night, y'all make sure y'all
take notes.
Have my predictions in the chat ready to go for me. Playing in Philadelphia, right? Game is at 8 o'clock. This game started at 8 o'clock. I need to know all these things. I gotta do my calculations in my head. In Philadelphia, 8 o'clock kickoff. Now I ain't gonna. I can't lie, man. I'm gonna be honest, man. I don't think Eagles gonna come out clicking all the way like they did, like they finished off last year, right? I think they have to do some tuning up, start getting things together a little bit here and there. But I'm gonna say 24-17.
24-17.
Eagles, baby.
Okay.
Fly, Eagles, fly on the road to victory. 24-17, my Eagles, man. Take it.
I like it. I like
Saquon Barkley to have 126 rushing yards in his first game back. 2 touchdowns. Yeah, Jalen Hurts, he's going to have a pretty solid game, be very effective, very efficient. I think that the Eagles will control the time of possession, which is most important in these type of games, right? The teams that like to throw the ball left and right, they don't win like these physical teams do these days. And that's what it's going to be, man. So y'all make sure y'all like, comment, subscribe. Y'all keep
subscribe.
Be sharing these lives and letting everybody know where they need to come to and get this energy. And we're going to be back on here at Thursday Night Football, man. We're going to have a good time. We're going to talk about that game. We're going to talk about Adoree Jackson. How did he do? Did he hold up? Starting the opposite side of Quinyon Mitchell. Saquon Barkley, is he back on track to have the same breakout season that he had this past season?
Not 2000. Not 2000.
Not 2000?
Not 2000. 1300. 1300.
Why not 2000?
Shit, that's a lot of yards.
That's a lot of yards, but
that's a lot of yards.
If he did it once, why he can't do it twice? You know what I mean? That's how I feel. If you do it once, you should be able to do it twice, But anything else you got to say, Drees, before you get up out of here?
Man, just make sure y'all subscribe, tune in, because football season starting. So you're gonna see everything, live reactions, soon the game end, and see. We gotta see is that, man, if you get it right. You gotta see if you get it right.
24-17, Eagles, baby. Y'all come back, man. Y'all shoot the shit with me, man, on Thursday night, man. And y'all know we're gonna be here. I don't know what I'm have on. I don't know how I'm be feeling, but It's gonna be the first game of the season, so I'm gonna be feeling good.
Me neither.
Thursday night vibes. I'm Asante, Mr. Pick Samuel. That's
2-3 Drees.
and we are out, baby.